Thomas and the entire council and the vision of the Mashantucket Pequot tribe for coming on board and funding our feature film project. I'd like to tell you a little about the project and our vision with it. This is the first time in cinematic history that a tribal nation has funded a feature film, and it's really time, because if you look at the history of film and television, the way other ethnic groups have really come into their own and defined who they are in the media is by coming together and doing it themselves instead of waiting for other people to tell their stories. And as American Indians, we've had a lot of stories told about us in the media that have been inaccurate, that have stereotyped us, that have created an image of us as the savage, the bad westerns, the mystic warrior types, and really kept us in the 1800s. And we face a lot of issues today in Congress that affect things such as our sovereignty and our gaming and who we are as Indian people in the 90s. And so it's been a dream of many of us who work and live in Hollywood as Indian people to tell our stories from the reality point of view, from who we are today, not a stereotype, not a savage. And as a writer, producer, actress, I wrote a script that I intended to do just that, but needed to find funding and knew that it wouldn't come from a major studio because it's something that we have to do ourselves. So I traveled around the country and I spoke to various Indian organizations and realized that the most progressive tribe, I really think the pace setters of tribal nations, that the Mashantucket Pequots were the right ones to approach. And they agreed with me and agreed to fund the project. And as I see it, it's really a coming together of all Indian nations. They are located here on the East Coast. We are filming the story in California, and so we're kind of reaching our hands across America, and it's really exciting. I have a wonderful crew that's come on board and a wonderful cast that's being assembled. Our director of photography is an Emmy award-winning DP cameraman, and everyone's coming on board and working for less than their usual fee because they believe in our vision and they believe in what this can lead to. And how this relates to this weekend is that there is one scene in the film that takes place at a powwow. And so we are filming here on Saturday. We'll be prepping for the next 2 days, and we'll be filming the dancers, and that will appear in the finished product, which is scheduled to premiere probably in January. So now if I could take a moment, I would like to introduce the people that have come out with me from California. I have Yvonne Russo, who is Sue, and she is our co-producer. I have Pato Hoffman. Pato is an established actor in Hollywood, very well respected. Last appeared in Geronimo, Lakota Woman. You can...
Wild Bill,
Ravenhawk, Wild Bill. And he will be playing my husband in the film. And Dawn Jackson, who is works for the Walt Disney Company, is co-founder of First Americans in the Arts. She's Saginaw Chippewa from Michigan, and she will be my co-executive producer, and I'd like to bring her up now and have her say a few words, actually.
I just wanted to say that this is a very exciting day for all of the Native people in Hollywood who've chosen careers in the entertainment industry. We honor all those who came before us, those who spent years and years laying the groundwork and paving a road for us. Some of those people you know by name: Will Sampson, Jay Silverhill. They quietly went about their work so we could be here today, and gave us the confidence and the belief in ourselves that Valerie, as an actress, a screenwriter, producer, myself working in a studio, could actually make a difference and make our mark in Hollywood. We also want to honor the Mashantucket Pequots who put faith, their trust in us that we can produce a good film. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Yes, the Mashantuckets are providing the money for the film. Do you have a distributor yet, or will the Mashantuckets also distribute?
No, we have positioned ourselves because we have the funding up front. We don't have to pre-sell the film, which usually takes a real cut in your profits. So we plan to make a great film. We already have great press. Rogers & Cowan is representing us for the unit publicity on the film. We've already had an article in Daily Variety, and an LA Times one is coming out. So we're hoping to create a buzz around the film and get a bidding war so that we can get a larger profit margin when we go to sell the film. I'm in contact with foreign sales agents and distributors right now. There's a peaked interest, but we're holding out until we can get the maximum amount of money, which would be towards the end of the filming. Any other questions?
How would you describe the story of the movie, the plot, and is there any movie that's comparable?
Yes, I call it an American Indian Brothers McMullen, if any of you are familiar with this. There was a small film that came out of Sundance, made a lot of money, about a family, and that's what this film is about, a family who happen to be American Indian. First and foremost, they're human beings, they have relationships, their lives are very comparable to everyone's life. We go through things that everyone might go through. However, you'll see in the film very specific obstacles that we face because we are Native Americans in the 90s. And the storyline is that we're a family, 3 sisters, who are trying to start our own business. And we go through different hoops trying to raise the money and get turned down or get the wrong reasons. People come alongside us for the wrong reasons, wanting to exploit us. And in the end, we go back to our tribe, and the tribe supports us. So it's a film about finding your identity and coming home. It's a film designed to entertain first and foremost, that everyone can identify with. It's not for Native audiences specifically, it's for anyone and everyone. It'll probably be rated PG or PG-13. There's no gratuitous sex or violence or profanity. And it'll be an entertaining story that I hope will encourage dialogue across the country when it opens, forums and talk shows about current issues with the Native community, things that people really will be educated about and enlightened about.
And the sisters are from what tribe?
They are from a California tribe, the Viejas Band of Kumeyaay Indian. And the reason I did that is I wanted to be locally accurate so that when we're filming in Los Angeles and in Hollywood, we're not pretending to be on someone's land that we're not on. And the Viejas tribe is located very close to Southern California there, to Los Angeles, and their tribe has been very supportive. They're currently in a battle to keep their casino open. Pete Wilson, the governor of California, has not lent his support, put it mildly, to gaming in California. So they are really in a crunch, and I feel that we're honoring them, and the Mashantucket Pequots are really coming alongside them by funding a film that addresses some of the gaming issues.
What is the business in the film?
It's actually a natural, herbal, native cosmetic and hair care line. And oddly enough, some people have approached me and feel that that idea to market the product alongside the film would be a great idea. However, I'm a producer, not a cosmetic person, but it is a potentially very viable idea because we are taking formulas that are real and native herbs and that kind of thing and putting them into cosmetics and hair care that our ancestors have used for centuries. So it actually is a quite viable idea.
Are any of the scenes shot at Foxwoods, or are there any casinos involved in the film?
The only casino will be the front of Viejas, just as we drive by, but then the powwow scene here is filming here in Connecticut. And my hope and dream is that this is the first project of many when it makes a lot of money and gets a lot of attention. And I have a series I've written that takes place at an American Indian gambling casino. I have a lot of networks and interest in it right now, and my dream would be that if that goes, we would film that at the Foxwoods Casino. I know some of you are aware that the Mohegan Sun currently films a couple of soap operas, and they're getting a lot of press, and I think it's only fair that we film something at Foxwoods.
There's no mention of money. How much money are the Mashantucket Pequots actually giving to you, and how much is it actually costing to make?
It is. I've done a very careful budget. I did my homework very well on this project. We are filming everything in its entirety for $700,000, and that includes the pre-production, the actual filming and production, and the post-production. And it's a very tight budget, but like I said, we have very talented people working for less than their usual rate because they believe in the vision of our project. And Rogers and Cowan, for example, donating most of their services. Post-production facilities have been donated to us. I have celebrities calling me and asking if they can do cameo appearances in the film. So it's that's the only way we're able to do it for that budget.
And is it fair to assume that all $700,000 comes from the Pequot?
Yes, in its entirety. They will retain ownership in the film, which is very groundbreaking too. One of my complaints about the stories that have been told in Hollywood about our people is that in a way we've been exploited, in that there would be a story told about us filmed on our land, using our actors, and very little money goes back into the tribal nation or into the Indian community because ownership of the film is with someone else, usually always a non-Indian. In this case, being that the Indian tribe is financing it, they will retain a percentage of ownership in the film, and the profits will come back into the tribe.
You mentioned many big actors and actresses are looking for cameo roles. Anyone in particular? Name names?
Well, I hate to say anything prematurely. We're in negotiations with a couple for one of the leads, but for a very small role, I was surprised that Carol Potter, who played the mother on Beverly Hills 90210, has agreed to play a very small cameo part simply to give her support and lend her support to the film and the cause. We also got a call from Max Gale, who was a series regular on Barney Miller for many years and has championed Indian rights in his personal life, and he also asked if he could come on board and work for very little money in any of the roles just to support us. So we're getting a lot of support, and as soon as we nail down the cast, we will definitely release that.
What's your schedule for production and distribution?
We're in pre-production at the moment. That's why I have the bags under my eyes. We're getting very little sleep. We plan to shoot principal photography around October 20th. One of our leads, American Indian leads, is Irene Bedard, who was the voice of Pocahontas in Pocahontas and also played Lakota Woman in Lakota Woman. She's a very busy actress and is currently on location in Texas, so we can't begin until she's through with that, and that'll be about October 20th. We will film for 3.5 weeks in and around Los Angeles, not including this time here, so that would actually put us at about 4 weeks. And then we will go into post-production probably through the end of the year, and that way we would have it ready to premiere in January. And the tribe has talked to me in a preliminary stage about hopefully premiering it at Foxwoods.
This coming January.
Right. 98.
When you shoot Saturday, what are you shooting exactly? Are you just shooting the events themselves, or are you and your other cast members actually going to be doing scenes?
No, we won't be in the scenes. We'll be shooting dancers on the floor, and in the movie it's a flashback to when I met my husband, who is played by Paso Hoffman, and one of the dancers will be him 15 years ago, but in full regalia, so we're looking for a match physically, but it won't be Paso himself dancing.
Did you approach anyone else before the Pequot about financing the film?
I didn't actually walk in and make a presentation, but I was asked to speak at the National Indian Gaming Association and the many conventions and groups who told me they thought this was a great idea. Many tribes expressed an interest, but I came first here, and I think, like I said, this is really they're pace setters, and I think many tribes will be interested in telling stories and funding films after this one.
What would traditionally be your source of funding for a film like this?
You would have to find a rich uncle or do pre-sales, which means you go to foreign sales agents in international venues and ask how much they would pay for it based on the script and the cast, and they really underbid you. They give you, say, $200,000 for a territory that you could maybe get $700,000 for later, and then you would have to take that money to a bank and get a loan based on the pre-sales. And typically it's just a real difficult way to sell your film because you see no profit at the end. You've sold it all before you go into it. Thank you very much.
Just wanted to remind you that our tribal council member, Michael Thomas, is here. He's the chairman of the Scamitson 97 celebration, and he's prepared to answer any questions that you may have.
I would begin by saying that we are delighted to be a part of this project. We consider it quite an historic event just to begin to undertake such an endeavor. I think that we've been approached with many film possibilities, and we've neglected to become involved in any of them, and most of them have lacked what this idea, when it came to us, clearly had. And those two things are first and foremost professional experience and leadership. Many of the folks that had approached us in the past didn't, in our opinion, have that. We believe that Valerie has not only the professional experience, but the reputation and the leadership skills to pull off such a project. In addition to that, I think that what makes it unique is that it is not focusing upon a distinction between our culture and the culture of the greater populace in this country. it focuses upon similarities and how we are like any other people on the face of this planet. So I think that those two things excited us, and we're glad to be a part of this. And I'll take any questions you may have.
What do you see as the similarity? What was the similarity that struck you, that you liked?
Similarity in what regard?
Well, you said that it wasn't focusing on the distinctions between our culture and the greater culture, but on the similarities.
Well, the similarities are we're human beings first and foremost, before we're Indian or anything else. And very few films portray us positively, period. And the ones that do portray us positively portray us as if we are so very different than the average person on the face of the planet, and nothing could be further from the truth. So I think the similarities between what this story, the story that will be told here in real life, is the similarity I alluded to.
Did you have much say in the product or the production or the storyline or the content of the?
We run casinos better than anyone on the planet. We don't do movies, so we would certainly not be egotistical enough to try to tell folks who are professionals, but who for various reasons don't have the opportunities that many other professionals have how to do their job, just as we wouldn't allow anyone to come tell us how to run a casino.
Do you see this as a financial investment?
No, I think that we believe very strongly in the possibility for financial reward, but I think it's more a philosophical investment than anything else. We're very rarely given the opportunity to control the portrayal of our people to the masses, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Many of them you know, and I think that we're excited to get beyond them.
Do you have any idea what the proceeds from the film will be used for?
No clue again. In our mind, this is not an investment decision based upon any return on investment, unless you want to call public perception and the ability to change that a return. Anything else? Thank you.